Municipal Records Repository. Late afternoon. I'm recording because Hannah asked me to wait before she explained anything. She said she needed to say it correctly. That was 11 minutes ago. She's been standing at the window since then, looking at the street below. I'm going to record whatever she says when she's ready. While I wait, the three objects are still on the table in front of me. The typed pages, the photograph, the correspondence card. I haven't moved them. I've been looking at the photograph again. The figure whose face is turned, O'Connor, is in profile. The turned figure is closer to the camera, closer than O'Connor, and the angle of their shoulders suggests they turned away at the moment of exposure, not before. A deliberate turn. Not camera shyness, not distraction. A choice made at the exact moment the photograph was taken, so that whoever held the camera would have no record of their face. The photographer is the third person. Both the turned figure and O'Connor are looking toward the platform entrance. The turned figure slightly ahead, leading or arriving first. Hannah said she met them. She looked at this photograph when she said it. She wasn't looking at O'Connor. She came away from the window about 40 minutes in. She sat down across from me. She looked at the photograph one more time. Then she looked at me. She said, 1987. I was 23. The node I was working wasn't 47 Marginal Road. That came later. It was a smaller site. A reading room in a municipal building that had been partially converted to office space. I was the only person using it. I'd been there 4 times over about 6 weeks. I asked her what kind of material was in it. Ledgers. Older than the 47 Marginal Road records, mid-1800s. Different format, different symbol system. I didn't know what I was looking at yet. I was still trying to understand whether the material was doing something or whether I was imagining it. She paused. The 5th time I went, someone was already there. She described them carefully. I'm going to record her description as accurately as I can. A person. Older than her at the time, she estimated mid-50s, though she said the estimate felt uncertain even as she made it, like her sense of their age kept adjusting as she looked at them. Average height. Seated at the reading table, with a document open in front of them, the same way Hannah would sit. Not startled by her arrival, not performing casualness, simply present, as though they had been there for some time and expected her. They knew her name before she said it. They knew which ledgers she'd been working from. They knew the specific pages she'd marked. They knew a notation she'd made in her own records, a shorthand she had developed privately, not recorded anywhere accessible to another person. I asked if that frightened her. She said it should have. I think the reason it didn't was that they weren't performing knowledge. They weren't demonstrating it to unsettle me. They were just operating from it, the way you operate from things you already know. She said they spoke for approximately 2 hours. She remembers the substance, but not the sequence. She said it felt less like a conversation and more like a briefing, except that it didn't feel controlling. It felt like someone giving her information she would eventually need, in the order they judged she was ready to receive it. Most of what they told her she didn't understand until years later. The last thing they told her was a location, precise, coordinates, a building description, an approach direction. They told her, the network has an origin site, it has a full index. When you reach it with a second investigator, your record will complete. They said it the way you describe somewhere you've already been. She wrote it down on the back of a catalog card from the reading room. She still has the card. I asked her to show me. She took it from her jacket pocket. She had it with her, had been carrying it this whole time, and set it on the table. I turned it over. The reverse side in Hannah's handwriting. A coordinate, a brief description matching the origin site exactly. The approach direction she used when we arrived. Below the coordinate, in the same handwriting, coordinate given, source unrecorded, that notation. I had seen it in her investigator record at the origin index. I had assumed it meant the source was lost or forgotten. It meant she had chosen not to record it. I asked her why. She was quiet for a moment. Because I didn't know how to explain where it came from. Because I didn't have a name to put in the source field. Because if I'd written down what actually happened in that reading room, the card would have read like I'd lost my mind. She paused. And because I wasn't sure the information was mine to share until someone else arrived at the same questions I had. I looked at the correspondent's catalog card on the table. Subject, the correspondent. Source, blank. I said, they don't record their source either. Hannah nodded. No, they don't. I asked her if she saw them again after 1987. She said no, once. That was the only time. I asked her if they gave her anything else. Beyond the coordinate, she was quiet again, longer this time. Then she reached into her jacket, the other pocket, the inside one. Something metal touched the table. A pocket watch, tarnished silver, cracked glass face, running. The same wear pattern as the watch I've been carrying since episode 6. The same tarnished distribution, the same crack line across the lower third of the face. I reached into my own pocket, set my watch next to hers. Identical construction, the same proportions, the same weight when I pick up mine. I can tell even without holding hers that they match. I opened mine. The interior engraving, a crescent mark, clean lines, and below it the number 2. Hannah opened hers, the same crescent mark, the same engraving style, the number 3. She said, they set it on the table when they stood to leave. They didn't say what it was. They said, you'll understand what it means when you find the second one. I looked at my watch, at hers. I said, I'm the second one. She said, I think so. Yes. I turned my watch over in my hand. I've had it since before I understood what the archive was. It was placed on my notes during a power outage at 47 Marginal Road by a figure I never identified. Set down, left. No explanation. The same way Hannah's was left. If mine is 2 and hers is 3, then someone carried the first before either of us. The watches aren't identifiers. They're markers in a sequence. I said, there's a first one. Hannah said yes. I said the correspondent has it, or had it. She looked at the photograph on the table, the figure with the turned face. She said quietly, or someone gave it to them the same way.